Mitro and Bandhuvo, welcome to South Asia Maps, Intellectual Kshatriya's channel. At South Asia Maps, I bring you the Indology-centric geography, culture and heritage for you in the form of icons, maps and images so that things will be easily etched in your mind. Because I have varied interest also and I research a lot, I will also post other related topics like general geography, human ecology. This is your presenter Dr. J. Reddy. Excuse me for my allergies. And we are continuing our discussion on the fascinating topics of human ecology, human predicament, and human impasse. These concepts come essentially from the work of Dr. Willam Jr. from his book OverShoot and BottleNecK. Today we are going to discuss about a very fascinating topic called realism. A brief intro. Today in the modern world we are in the post-exuberant era. Exuberance is 5 centuries of economic prosperity affluence from 1500 voyages and discovery of the New World to round about 2000. We are in post-exuberant era and how we adapt to that era is the concept. Modes of adaptation to ecologically inexorable changes. After post-exuberant, there are 5 mechanisms. We will be discussing about those 5. That is realism, cargoism, cosmetic-ism, cynic-ism, ostrich-ism. The first one is realism. I am going to talk today. This is the work of Dr. Catton's monumental work OverShoot, the ecological basis of revolutionary change. Every social worker and opinion makers and political leaders should read this book. If we read this book, our way of handling the complex issues, looking at them will be very, very different. That is the monumental book OverShoot, the sequel BottleNecK book. He was the professor emeritus at University of Washington State University, Pullman, that is east of Cascade Mountains, south of 49th parallel, the line that divides United States and Canada in the north. Professor Willam Catton Jr. I have already posted many parts. Here, this is, you can find me at that particular Twitter site also. We are now the presentation 31, realism. I will talk about cargoism, cosmetism, cynicism, ostracism eventually. So we discussed about the carrying capacity, the taking over, the drawing down, the difference between the old world and new world, and Homo colossus, gigantic human being, and its cousin, genetic similar, Homo sapiens. Then in the next 5 parts, ecological exuberance gives to social exuberance, emotional exuberance, emotional exuberance. Then detritus ecosystems, ecological ecologies, carrying capacity and phantom carrying capacity. Part 10, what are the various niches? Ecological niches, economic niches, social niches, political niches we covered. In the 11th presentation, human predicament we have today on the planet Earth. The low pressure regions still present on the planet Earth like Alaska, Siberia, Australia cannot provide the carrying capacity surplus for human being Homo colossus. And from Lincoln to Biden, 1830 65 Lincoln assassination to Biden 2025. Nearly 35 million people to 350 million Homo colossus in United States of America. Age of exuberance, 5 centuries of economic prosperity, affluence, and technological progress I talked. 15, the population doubles, 10 global doublings from the discovery of agriculture to current 2025 I discuss. Next, the 16th one. I talked about recent 4 population doublings, 1818, 1990, from 78, 1974, 87, 2000, and 2025. These are the 4 recent doublings. What is an American dream? I discussed about the American dream, American prosperity, non-competitive lifestyles. Then American dream, Canadian dream, Australian dream is a subalterns. All the dreams collapsed are founded on lack of carrying capacity surplus we discussed about. Then we discussed how the East in the wine water similar to humans on the planet Earth. Then we discussed that there are 6 continents on the planet Earth, 8 billion humans. So you can explore all those things further, and if we go back to our current presentation, that is 5 modes of adaptation, and the first mode we are talking about realism. This is the part 31. You can see that. The modes of adaptation to ecologically inexorable changes in the post-exuberant era. There are 5 modes: realism, cargoism, cosmeticism, cynicism, and ostracism. So what is in all these 5, and I will summarize in the 6th one all those 5, there is a circumstance, there is a consequence. Realism and cargoism, cosmetism, cynicism, ostracism, they differ whether they accept or reject or partially accept or disregard the circumstance and consequences. We will see the difference. The realism accepts the circumstances and it accepts the consequences. What is the circumstance? The age of exuberance is over. There are 8 billion humans on the planet Earth. That means they overshot the carrying capacity of the planet Earth. If you remember this icon, you see 8 billion humans and resource depletion. So the circumstances, age of exuberance is over, and there are 8 billion humans on the planet Earth today, and there is a resource depletion. The prodigal Homo sapien, that is Homo colossus, has drawn down all the saving deposits on the planet Earth, or most of them. That is the fossils, minerals and metals, so on. So this is the circumstance. So this is the circumstance. What is the consequence? The consequence is human organization has to change. The government, our Medicare system, our education system, the commercial system, commerce, and also all those things. Human organization must change. They must be simplified. Human behaviors must also change. That means we have too much aspirant today that cannot continue. So organization has to change, behavior has to change. Remember HO, human organization, HB, human behavior. So what essentially is, it accepts this consequence. It disregards limitlessness of the earth. You remember this is the earth, and if you start at Singapore and go around the equator via Quito in South America, and come back to Singapore, there is 40,000 kilometers. That is the circumference. So the earth is not limitless. That's what it is. So it disregards that. That means, other way of saying is, it accepts the finite limit of human habitat. There are only 132 million square kilometers on the planet Earth. It accepts that. So it accepts the circumstances, it accepts the consequences. So that is the main realism. The realism, here I have defined the realism. The realism recognizes that the age of exuberance is over. Overpopulation, resource depletion is already here. Human behaviors must change. Human organization must change. So, circumstances accepted, consequences accepted. This is the adaptation. The name of the adaptation is realism, one of the 5 adaptations, that is. And if you are not aware of my main YouTube channel, you can go to South Asia Maps YouTube channel, Reddy. There are more than 250 meticulously made presentations on varied topics for you, and you can go and explore them for your convenience, because you may be looking and interested in certain other, whatever the topic you are. There are nearly 30 playlists. Current one I will put under human ecology, so that there are already 30 or so, and this is the 31. So there are many other playlists like Sindh province, British Raj, Orissa state, Islam, Assam and Northeast, Karnataka, Jammu Kashmir, rivers and mountains, and railways, the districts of India, the battles, treaties, and so on. So it fits into varied, diverse interests of anybody who looks at them. And you can also look at the Twitter, the handle India Maps too. You can look at them, and I will be posting there also. So that is in essence. So we talked about the drawdown. This is the drawdown map, and this is the carrying capacity, the number of people living in a habitat can support indefinitely. The Homo colossus and Homo sapiens I discussed about. That is in essence about different one. Realism, one of the 5 adaptations I talked today. The realism recognizes age of exuberance is over. There is a population explosion on the planet Earth, and beyond the carrying capacity of the planet Earth, our habitat, resource depletion is here. Our human organization has to change. Human behavior has to change. These are the 5 modes of adaptation to the post-exuberant era. Hope this will be helpful to you in recognizing and comprehending the things. Once we complete all the 5 presentations, you will get a very deeper understanding how our life and society is undergoing. The political outward things are just nominal. What is really happening behind, you will be able to articulate, understand, and also can adapt most of the time. Thank you very much. This is your presenter, Dr. Reddy. If you like the channel, please go and look at other presentations. Also make your comments too, and if you like them, subscribe them too, and bring to your friends' notice. See you later in other presentations.